From being one of the most prolific scorers the world has ever seen to having an almost unguardable jump shot, this is how Kevin Durant has acquired many nicknames throughout his career, like the Slim Reaper, and a much more terrifying one for everyone with arachnophobia, Kevin Durantula. He's been an incredible phenom ever since he's come into the league, and he lives up to the spider likeness by putting primal fear in his opponents. Kevin has racked up an insane amount of accolades, and he's done it by having a sniper-esque jumper and being one of the best shooters ever in pure efficiency. His ability and skill set even pit him against LeBron James as top 2 contenders in the league for years, and there were many that thought it wasn't if, but when he would take the #1 spot. So prop up your feet and enjoy the ride till the end of the video, because we're gonna go over KD's rise in the league, how his freakish basketball frame gives him an edge against other NBA greats, what happened with the Brooklyn Nets, and how he's formed what could be potentially a super team with the Phoenix Suns. KD has admitted he actually stands at 7 foot with shoes on, but he's on record at Basketball Reference at 6'10". Though that's only a small part of his biggest strengths as one of the best scorers in history. Firstly, he's listed at 240 pounds, but his agility and quickness getting to the rim is just downright unfair for a player of his size. If he's fouled on the way to the rack or in his shooting motion, Durant can absolutely demoralize opponents with his free throw percentage, sitting at over 88% for his career. What makes him even more deadly is his wingspan, which is 7 foot 5 inches long. That's over 6 inches longer than his height. For comparison, Giannis is listed at 6 foot 11 inches, and his wingspan is an entire 2 inches shorter. What's more different between the two is KD plays much more like a guard than a big man because of his position at small forward. One thing is for certain, KD has definitely taken full advantage of his frame because his career stats are staggering. Durant has averaged 27.3 points, 7.1 rebounds, and 4.3 assists for his career over 986 games. But recently, he's been much more hot, with 29.1 points, 6.7 rebounds, and 5 assists in the 2022-2023 season. Every legend has an interesting past, so let's get into how KD earned his Slim Reaper and Durantula nicknames, and how he got to where he is today. Kevin was born in 1988 in the Washington, D.C. area to Wanda Durant and Wayne Pratt. His mother, Wanda, raised him and his brother Tony as a single mother and worked tirelessly at the post office to keep their family together. When Durant was 10, he told his mom about his aspirations to be a basketball player, and Wanda made sure she knew if he went down that route, Kevin was going to put in as much work as possible to make it happen. She even told his basketball coach to push him harder than he already was. Wanda told KD, "This is what you wanted, so you have to do more than the next person." Because of both of their efforts, Durant started to show out while playing hoops. He climbed high in the rankings of the AAU with other big names that would become NBA stars, like Michael Beasley. He eventually transferred in his senior year to Montrose Christian School and became the Washington Post's All-Met Basketball Player of the Year. KD being KD, he also ended up winning MVP at the 2006 McDonald's All-American. You would think with accolades like that, he would end up on historical NCAA teams like Duke, but instead, he decided to join Texas, saying he wanted to blaze his own trail. He landed squarely on the number 35 for his jersey, in remembrance of AAU coach Charles Craig, a man that was like a father to him but was murdered when he was only 35 years old. As a Longhorn playing for Texas, KD ended up playing for only 1 year. In that year alone, though, he had several awards like the Wooden Award, the Naismith Award, and the Associated Press Award, among many others. As Kevin no longer had anything to prove at college, he would go on to enter the draft in 2007. And was chosen second by the Seattle Supersonics, who would later move out of town and become the Oklahoma Thunder. The Slim Reaper showed his dominance on the court as a rookie, even getting the 2007-2008 Rookie of the Year. KD continued collecting accolades by joining the elusive 40-50-90 club in 2012 to 2013. The youngest player to ever achieve it. During his entire tenure with the Thunder, he never recorded a single season with less than 20 points on average, and even recorded a mind-blowing 32-point average with OKC for 2013 to 2014. That incredible performance ended up with him winning the MVP for the season, and in a heartfelt speech, he said that it was Mom, Wanda, who was the real MVP for all of her sacrifice in raising him and pushing him to become the force he was in the NBA. After Durant's 9-year stint with the franchise, which includes the 1 year with the Supersonics, he decided to pack his bags and head to Golden State. While it was a highly controversial move at the time, KD ended up winning 2 rings in 3 years with Golden State and never missed the playoffs. Durant also got the Finals MVP for each chip, which is amazing given he had superstar talent like 9-time All-Star Steph Curry on the team, plus 2 other All-Stars, 4-time All-Star Draymond Green and 5-time All-Star Klay Thompson. Their only series defeat in the 2019 postseason would end up being to the Toronto Raptors, and there's no doubt the Warriors would have been much more competitive if not for an Achilles injury to Durant during Game 5 of the Finals. This is even more obvious if Kevin hadn't missed all of the Western Conference Finals and Game 1 through 4 of the Finals due to a strained right calf. It was his Achilles injury that would keep him sidelined the entirety of the 2019-2020 season. And Durant was not happy with how the media was portraying him. Even after winning 2 chips and being Finals MVP of both, it was still questionable if he was better than LeBron James. And he took those criticisms to heart. Durant went on to say, "I'm tired of being second. I'm not going to settle for that. I'm done with it." The Warriors ended up moving Durant to the Nets via a sign-and-trade, and it was looking like on paper, the team would be a perennial juggernaut. The Nets acquired Kyrie from Boston, as well as Harden from the Rockets. But Durant was still injured, and he wouldn't return until December of 2020. Unfortunately for KD, while he was out, the entire world was going through many pains of its own. Kyrie would miss many of his games for the Nets, due to New York having a ban on players that didn't take a vaccine. Making matters worse, Harden was traded for Ben Simmons from the 76ers in 2022. Who was having woes of his own and refused to play in Philly at all. There were several other pieces moved as well, like Paul Millsap to the 76ers, and the Nets getting Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-round draft picks in 2022 and 2027. This all ballooned into problem after problem with KD and the Nets, and he ended up being traded to the Phoenix Suns after it was rumored he was not seeing eye to eye with Brooklyn anymore. Regardless of how things have happened with the Nets, Durant continues to be a dominant force on the court after his departure. With the games he's played so far with the Phoenix Suns, he's averaged 26 points per game, 6.4 rebounds, and 3.5 assists. Durant still has plenty of ball left to play, and at the end of the day, his accolades speak for themselves. With those incredibly long arms, he's already bagged up 2 chips, and on top of being an all-time scoring champ 4 times, he's been a 13-time All-Star, 10 times All-NBA, 2013 to 2014 MVP, and has several gold medals for Team US, winning 3 across 2012, 2016, and 2020. If that wasn't enough, he's the all-time scoring champion for Team USA. With his new squad, he has several high-caliber players he's hoping to win another ring with, including Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and Chris Paul. That lineup looks like it should be titanic for years to come, and unless they go the way of the Nets and implode, we could see Durant getting his 3rd ring in the near future, while Chris Paul can still perform. After being an absolute legend for as many years as he's been on the court, KD still has a lot of gas in the tank. His most recent career numbers are still well within career averages, and if his move to Phoenix gets him a 3rd chip, he'll be in rarefied air in the NBA. His amazing jump shot and scoring efficiency hasn't quite died down yet, so we may yet again see Kevin Durantula terrorizing the NBA in the playoffs.